Hello everyone, welcome back to my recap movie. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with a man writing a letter while he is narrating what is written in it. Then, in the Philippines, the ambassador to the United States of America ambassador. Margulies fetches his son in an elementary school when an ice cream truck enters the school. His son sees the truck and asks his father to buy him ice cream. When the father and son reach the truck, the driver of the truck, Abu Shabel, who's also the mastermind and leader of a terrorist group, immediately leaves. Afterward, the truck exploded, killing the ambassador, his son, and many children that were gathered around the truck. Then we meet Lieutenant Rourke and Chief Dave in a bar while the news of the incident is being reported. There, Lieutenant Rourke tells Chief Dave that his wife Jackie is pregnant and invites him and their comrades along with their families on a trip. Meanwhile, in Costa Rica, a man known as Cristo arrives in a community and the children excitedly gather around him. A doctor sees him and smiles at him. At night, the doctor, who turns out to be a CIA agent, Lisa Morales, meets with her partner, Walter Ross. They're to talk about Cristo, who's a drug smuggler but gives back end, helps the community, causing them to be loyalty. Agent Morales also discovers a link that will connect Cristo to Shadow. Meanwhile, the two of them are unaware that someone is watching and taking photos of them. The scene changes to Rourke and Day on their family trip. The man narrating seems to be talking to a child, telling him his relationship with his father. Then we see Rourke and Dave serve as their family watches them. Back to Costa Rica, Agent Morales and Agent Ross are playing Scrabble when someone rings the doorbell. Thinking that it's the food Agent Morales ordered, Agent Ross gets it, but he is shocked as soon as he opens the door to men quickly enter the room and attack Agent Morales. She tries to fight back, but the men overpowered capture. The scene changes back to the family trip where the narrator introduces the other members of their platoon. He introduces why me, Sonny, AJ, Nikki, and Senior Chief Miller. Them away on with their families are having fire over a bonfire. Later, Rourke talks to his team and tells them the importance of keeping the balance between doing their jobs as a soldier and as a family man. Afterward, we see them bid goodbye to their family and board a train. We also see Rourke bidding goodbye to his wife. Jackie wants Rourke to be with her when she gives birth, and he promises to do his best. Rourke then leaves, and Jackie crisis, she closes the door. Meanwhile, we see Agent Morales beaten up when a man contacts Cristo and questions her. Agent Morales insists that she's a doctor, still not letting go of her cover, but Cristo knows who she is and who she works for. Cristo then orders to keep the agent alive until the speaks up. The scene changes to the camp, which is Rocket, Costa Rica, where soldiers are discussing what has opened to Agents Morales and Ross. They are ordered to rescue Agent Morales. The Sales Team 7 moves out, sneaks their way to the enemy's camp, holding the position overnight. Later, helicopters drop the extraction team in the nearby river. Then we see that Agent Morales is being tortured. Hearing her screams, the soldiers have no choice but to move a bit earlier than planned. Why me, the team sniper, takes down the guards as Chief Dave and his team enter the warehouse, while Lieutenant Rock stays with Why Many monitoring the area using a drone. Unfortunately, while looking for Agent Morales, Mikey, a shot in the eye when an enemy opens fires at them. His comrades quickly attend to him while others fight back. Outside, Why Me is providing cover for the team by shooting every enemy trying to get inside. Then Chief Day finds Agent Morales and confer her identity. They also got a phone that is full of information about Agent Morales' investigation. The soldiers begin to move out as the enemy backups are arriving. Using a truck, they drive to the extraction point. While driving there, still attending to Mikey when she suddenly wakes up. He survives, but his one eye is blinded. The enemies keep chasing them when Lieutenant Rourke and Why Me reach the road, and Wyoming shoots a rocket at them. Quickly, they hop on the back of the pickup truck and move to the third extraction point because they missed the second one. Other enemy trucks are on the way, and Soldier's truck crashes into the river. Luckily, the extraction team arrives and provides cover for them, shooting the enemies as the soldiers drive to safety. The scene changes to Ukraine, where we see a man showing Shabel a suicide bombing vest. The man proudly tells Shabel that the vests are undetectable because the explosives are made out of gel inside ceramic ball bearings embedded in the vest. Afterward, Shabel meets with Cristo and it is revealed that the two are childhood friends. Cristo tells Shabel that he will go into hiding because he knows that the CIA is already behind his back. This makes Shabel angry and confronts him about their plans, which Cristo responds that it will continue not just with him handling it personally, but by a trusted subordinate. Meanwhile, at the Central American coast, Senior Chief Miller discusses to Lieutenant Rourke and Chief Dave what they discovered upon investigate the phone that recovered during the rescue of Agent Morales. He tells them the relationship of Shabel to Cristo, but it turns out that Shabel does not care about drugs or money, he just wants chaos. Then Senior Chief Miller lays out the plan on stopping Chapel. Ray and AJ will go to Africa to gather intel because Shabel will be there for the transfer of weapons before moving to Mexico. Then Lieutenant Rourke, Chief Dave, and the rest of their platoon will stay to monitor the situation and to respond quickly if something happens anywhere near America. Lastly, Senior Chief Miller will go with the SEAL team to capture Cristo. After the briefing, Chief Davis about to leave to brief their men when Lieutenant Rock stops in. The lieutenant gives him def letter for him to send to Jackie if something bad happens to him. Chief Dave then reveals to him that he thought of requesting the command send Lieutenant Walk home to spend time with his wife, but he realizes that they need him in this mission. Afterward, we see Jay and Ree board a submarine and get briefed about their mission. Then we see them in Somalia watching Shabelle and the terrorists transferring crates from one plane to another. They also spot 16 Filipinos with Shabelle, which confuses them. Meanwhile, in a yacht, Cristo was surprised when his yacht is attacked and suddenly surrounded by soldiers. Later on, Senior Chief Miller shows up and introduces himself to Cristo and to talk about travel. Although Cristo does not believe in Shamble's beliefs, he believes in his friend and his goals. He also uses the pendulum as a metaphor for them, being Shabelle and Cristo in the two end of the pendulum while the Americans are those balls in the middle. This angers Senior Officer Miller, thinking that Cristo was playing games. He then shows Cristo a video of him with his kid. Senior Officer Miller uses Cristo's family for him to cooperate. Cristo then reveals to him about the ceramic ball bearings. He reveals to the senior chief that Shabelle plans to destroy America worse than it did during the 9/11 attack, using 16 suicide bombers that are scattered in different cities. The scene changes to Cetera Island in Mexico, where Lieutenant Rourke and his platoon sneak into a town. Then we see a man making a vest with ceramic ball bearings. The soldiers quietly move and end of the houses, but when they spotted a man with a gun, they shoot him. Alerting the other terrorists in the area, a shootout happens to terrorists try to escape using a pickup truck, but they are spotted by Wai Mi, who's in a helicopter. They try to shoot a rocket of them, but misses and Wai Mei takes them down. Meanwhile, the fighting continues, and Lieutenant Rourke and Chief Day enter the house of the man making a suicide vest, but the man is waiting for them, holding a rocket launcher, and shoots them as soon as they enter the house. Chief Davis, luckily not hit Lieutenant Rourke, takes the rocket into his body and sends him flying. Chief Dave quickly shoots the man down and attends to his friend. Luckily, because of the short distance, the rocket did not explode, nor pierce through Lieutenant Rourke's body. To then see the suicide vest. Afterward, we see Shabelle talking to the Filipino jihadists and pointing to the location where they will go. Going back to Rourke, he receives a report from the base that their mission is not yet over, because half of the jihadists escaped, and they will cross the border using a tunnel network. Then they are ordered to meet with a Mexican soft commander, and it is meant for them to join forces to stop Shabelle. Meanwhile, Chapel and the 8 remaining jihadists have already reached the milk factory. Afterward, we see Lieutenant Rourke meets with the Mexican soft commander and shares the intel to him about the terrorist crossing the border by the use of a tunnel system. The commander Quo likely realizes where the place is in, warns them that the place is under the jurisdiction of a cartel, so they must prepare for a much bigger fight. Then we see them move around the town using trucks. The scene changes inside the factory, where Shabelle and the Filipino jihadists are being instructed by a man on what they will do. Outside the cartel, members notice the soldiers and shoot at them, but the soldiers have already reached the milk factory. Hearing the gunshots outside, the man quickly leads Shabelle and the jihadists to the tunnel. Meanwhile, the soldiers outside fight back. Lieutenant Rourke then orders Wai Mi to secure the entrance as they enter the factory. Inside, Shabelle tells one Filipino jihad US to stay in, detonates the vet to stop the soldiers. Scared, Shambles secures the woman that she will be joining her husband and have an afterward. Then 2 soldiers enter the room where the jihadist is. Crying, she presses the detonator and her vest explodes. Luckily, the 2 soldiers manage to get out of the room immediately. The explosion caught up with another man with a vest and it causes another explosion. Getting on their feet and reuniting with others, the soldiers continue their search for Shabelle and the remaining jihadists. Then suddenly an enemy drops a hand grenade at them. It seems like Lieutenant Rourke is the only one who notices the bomb. Alerting everyone, he quickly jumps on top of the grenade, sacrificing himself to save his comrades. Lo, Chief Day the surprised to see his friend lying on his pool of blood. He quickly attends to his friend when Sonny tells him to continue and assure him that he will stay with the lieutenant. Meanwhile, Shabelle and the jihadists reach the tunnel when the man leading them stops to provide cover. But before they could enter the tunnel, Chief Dave and another soldier show up and shoot them. They manage to take down the soldier with Chief Dave, but he also manages to take down the man and the remaining jihadists. Unfortunately, Shabelle also shot Chief Dave many times. Losing his consciousness, Shabelle is about to finish him when Sonny arrives and guns Shabelle down. Sonny then reports to the base that the tunnel is secured and all the threats are already neutralized. He also reports that Chief Dave and Lieutenant Rourke are down. While we see Lieutenant Workspace, the scene changes to his burial. Lieutenant Rourke is given a military funeral honor. There we see that Chief Dave survives, but needs to be in a wheelchair. Jackie then receives the American flag as an honor to his late husband's service for the Cunt 3. He also received the old American flag that Lieutenant Rourke always brought in every mission that belonged to his father. Before Lieutenant Rourke's coffin is brought down, his platoon puts their special warfare insignia, also known as the seal, trying to pay respect to their fallen leader. Then it is revealed that the narrator of the story is Chief Dave narrating his letter that is meant for later and Work Son. We see Jackie crying as she finishes reading the letter while holding her child's hand, because the last part of it directly comes from Lieutenant Worf, which is his favorite poem. She then places the letter on top of Lieutenant Work's old man's flag. The movie ends by paying dedication and respect to all the warriors of naval special warfare that made the ultimate SAC prefer since 9/11. Thanks for watching this video.